Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 24 of 100 Days of Code with Leon Andersen. Leon, how are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Um, I like the contents of the course at the moment. It's like more of the stuff that's happening under the hood. Today, yesterday I already looked into the call stack, and today um, it was about web APIs and single threadedness, um, callback hell, and the solution to that. Um, and yeah, basically promises are the solutions. But yeah, let me start at single threadedness. That's basically the JavaScript only computes one line at a time, and there are situations where some lines are or some computations are happening parallel. For example, when so there's this set time delay or something like that, or setback or something, where you delay the execution of a function by a given time, and during that time, other lines of JavaScript code are already going on with the computing. And that's because the browser does the work for instead of JavaScript at that at those kinds of moments. I don't know what other examples there are, maybe, but um, some of the stuff is being handled by the browser, and as far as I know it, that's also because browsers are also written in C++ and more base level languages, as far as I understand it right now. So they can do more things to certain degrees, or from some perspectives. And yeah, if you so then we looked at the situation that can happen quite fast, as far as I understand it, or that is quite common, where you're nesting, for example, requests to an API, and you want to have like if the first one goes through, then you want the second one go through as well, and the third one, and so on. And in between that, when one of them is not working, then you want a catch or an error message, and the when you nest it in a regular way, when you when you nest all of the different paths inside of each other, then it's called callback hell, because it's just very it looks very messy to know what lines are related to each other, and if it's indented right, and then we looked at like a semi solution where we worked with um, um, yeah, I didn't fully. I think we didn't. Oh yeah, the the next lesson that I didn't start it is creating our own promises, but we already worked with promises, and we then nested promises, which was a little bit looked a little bit better than the nesting before, but still very messy. And then we looked into the solution for it, basically, which is that you that if you successfully if the first command or the first function is successful, then it returns another function or the next request, basically. So instead of nesting them, nesting the function inside of each other's, you basically you just return the next function that you want. So this way, it's not all inside of each other, but it's more like so for me, it looked a bit like when you have like multiple waterfalls and it flows from one waterfall into the other, into the other, into the other. So basically some form of cascade, I guess. And this way you don't have to have all of the, yeah, you don't have to have so much nesting. And then if none of them works, or if one of them doesn't work, it doesn't return the next function or the next request. I don't know what a request is yet, really. He didn't explain that. It's something about requesting data or anything from somewhere. But and instead of executing the next function, instead it goes into a catch written in the nested examples. You have for each individual layer, you have an individual catch that can then show an error message or yeah, and with the promises, with these, yeah, returning one question into one request out after another out of each other. You only need one catch at the bottom, and it looked way more structured, and I really liked how that looked and with the flow of things. And yeah, to me it was like chaining I don't know, like building dominoes, like a bit more like, to me it feels a bit different than having a function that has other functions inside that are still part of the function, but instead it's more like one function after another. It has a little, I don't know, to me it feels more like you can build like mechanisms with it. I don't know. There's like quite some topics in the section left, but yeah, I'm hyped AF to learn more about that. This, yeah, it seems like more bigger picture puzzle pieces are coming together. Yeah, I don't know if that made sense what I thought, but yeah.
That is amazing. So I tried to put some examples around the stuff that you mentioned. So callbacks, luckily, as you mentioned, callbacks are almost non-existent anymore in JavaScript because of promises. But this is how callbacks can look to the viewer. So basically, you pass in a function to another function, and then somewhere in that function in which you pass in the other function, this function gets executed. And if it only happens once, it's kind of manageable. But in the past, JavaScript did this a lot, and you had to drill through so much code to find out where the function is end up being called. And it's just, yeah, for a reason called a hell. Um, and here are three different ways to create promises. So the easiest is just to put the async keyword in front of the argument if you do it with
Oh
an
yeah,
error function.
that's in the next chapters. Does it
Nice.
make sense
Okay.
to go into that
Yeah.
already, or
I think just briefly, if you
okay?
already see it, and then you'll see it again with code explain it, this will help
Yeah.
you. But basically, you can either just put an async in front of an argument or all of the arguments of your function, or there's the promise dot resolve and also reject word, or there's also promise dot reject. And when the promise just resolves or rejects immediately with whatever you pass it to it, then there's the promise constructor, which looks like this, where you give it a callback. This callback has actually two arguments, so there's also an objective, and you can use that too if you want to, but here we just wanted a heavy promise that resolves. This is how it looks if you use it with the function keyword. You just put async in front of the function keyword, and then you can await inside of it. And as you mentioned, you can also wrap try catch around it, but you've described it so well. And it's a pretty straightforward to understand, but I didn't show it. I also didn't show the catch keyword because, yeah, people that will come across this will definitely learn this, and it's not that complicated. But I showed a little bit more chaining, so you can chain promises as many times as you want. And by the way, people might ask, like, how does this work? In case people haven't catch up with all of these, because JavaScript and JavaScript, you can pass in functions as arguments. This right here is the same as this. It's called point-free style. If you don't mention the arguments in the function definition, yeah. Um, this was just the code examples that I wanted to show. And there's one thing that I want to recommend to everyone to read, which is this article right here. Master, the JavaScript interview, What is the Promise by Eric Elliott. It's a great article that goes a lot deeper into promises, a lot deeper than you need to be honest. But if you go really, really deep, then the quote unquote shallow stuff, the easy stuff will be very easy for you. So I always like to push the limits once so that the stuff that you see in day-to-day life gets super easy. And this is exactly what this article does. So I highly recommend anyone to read it.
Yeah, sounds awesome. What before the article you said something. It's called so and so point style, or
Point freestyle, but that's a spoiler. So once you finish the code steel course, we're gonna go into stuff like point freestyle.
got it? Ah, point free style.
Yeah, point freestyle. Yes.
I heard point three. Bro. Anyway, okay. Yeah, I'm hyped. I can't wait to learn more. This is awesome.
Amazing. So, any questions before we wrap up here?
Oh yeah, there was one thing I noted down. Good that you asked. Um, I don't know the exact use case, but their code used a Boolean AND, like two ANDs next to each other, and he said uh, when the left side of a Boolean AND is false, the right side never runs. Did I?
Yes.
Okay. And what I thought was this seems a bit like if like an if statement, another way of statements. Is that or is it similar?
Well, not exactly. Wait, let me write you something up and explain this in detail.
Yes. I can't see
Okay.
anything.
Yeah, I was muted. I just realized I muted myself again. So, okay, there is something in JavaScript which is called operand selector operator. Like very scary word, but it's actually pretty straightforward. So you already know what an operator is, right? An operator are all the things that you've learned before, where you can put variables on either side, and the operator does something. This is having like plus, minus, division, and multiplication, right? I think you also know the modulo, right, for the remainder.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so, and it's not the same as statements, right? It's different from if and try catch, which were statements that you already learned. So we know this topic is about operators. And then operand selector is basically the fancy way to describe the behavior that you just mentioned that code explained. Where when you use the operand selector operators, sometimes only one of the two sides gets executed. And there are only two operand selector operators. One is the double, what was the correct term for this? I think it's called ampersand. So the double ampersand, when you look up the spelling, ampersand, like this, or ampersand. And then we also have the double, I don't know if this has like the correct
I,
term. The double dashes here.
I think it's called pipe.
Pipe. That's called a bit in English. And there are only these two operands, selector operators. So let's look at what they do, right? So let's say we say console.log hello. And as you might know, well, do you know what console.log returns?
Hello.
No, that is what gets printed out in the console. What does it return? If I would write a function that I would return console.log hello.
Nothing.
Well, what is nothing in JavaScript?
Undefined?
Yes, exactly. So this is undefined, right? And operand selector operators, so the double ampersand and the double pipe, they evaluate if they look at is the thing on the left hand side of me, is that truly or falsely? Falsely. So
Mm-hmm.
truly or falsely. Right? And undefined in JavaScript is falsely. So that means
Mm-hmm.
if you write something like this, console.log by, the thing that gets knocked out with you is only hello. While my async code is running afterwards, so let's comment out the async code here. Keep it clean. This, the only thing that's getting printed out is hello, because this is undefined. And if you have undefined here, then this right-hand side does not even get executed
Um, so
because
the first,
undefined is faulty. So this basically says
okay,
undefined,
okay,
ampersand,
okay, okay.
ampersand, undefined.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Okay,
Selects
interesting.
only the left-hand side, basically.
That's interesting. Okay. And
Yes. And with the type operator, you have the same, but only if it's true. So if we say console.log hello and console.log boy, and we get hello twice, because this hello gets knocked out, this hello gets knocked out, and this by gets knocked out. Because for this operator, undefined, if the first side is undefined, then it also executes the right hand side. So if the left hand side is the left, or let's write it at the bottom, if the left hand side is faulty, and execute the right hand. Here, if the left hand side is faulty, then execute the right hand. Right? So far so good. The next thing that we will look at is what if something truly gets returned. So for that, let's create our truly console block and arguments, and we pass them into our console log right here, args like this, and then we return true just to fake stuff out. The syntax error, I think, is just code samples beam, or then, oh yeah, truly console block like this. We can now use that. So let's do true and then true. So we say to the console log with hello, and then to the console log with bye. And that gives us true, because we're gonna get into it, but basically let's say to the hello, and to the bye. So we can distinguish them in the console. It could be hello to the bye, right? Because true is truly, therefore the right hand side gets also executed. And let's look at it for true true like this, the pipe operator. We say to the console mode.
Oh, I need 1 second. I'm away for a moment.
Well, let's see, can we do some stuff while we wait here? For Leon to get back to us? I think we can. Let's find something cool. Find fast enough. I think I'm not fast enough. Yeah, I was too slow.
Okay, I'm back. There was a cat running over my roof. Sounded like someone was intruding my bathroom. Hello?
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm back. Free. Then let's keep on going here. So we have two from the 2D console log, pipe operator, and then two from the other 2D console log, like this, 2D console log, 2D by. As you can see here, now the last 2D by, this one, is not logged out to the console, because when this is true for the pipe operator, then the right-hand side does not get executed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now let's last thing that we can do is look at the return types, because not only is it about the execution of both sides, it's also about what gets returned. So in this case, let's say we have undefined and undefined. If we put true here, then what we get in return, wait, let's actually do it below. So let's do it with true or false, but keep in mind, it works with true the left and all the yes, which means that people often think that this only works with true and false, but it works with truthiness and falsiness. As we saw above, with undefined, it still works. With an empty string, it still works, but it's just the most easy to demonstrate with true and false. So not only is it about the execution of both sides of the operand selector, but also about what gets returned. So basically, if we say true and true, then what gets returned is true. Because true is true, so we return whatever is on the right hand side. If we say true and then false, then we get false. Because true is true, so we return whatever is on the right hand side, which is false. If we say true, sorry, if we say false and then true, then we get false, because false is false, therefore only the left-hand side will be returned. And lastly, if we say false and false, then we also get false, because only the right hand side gets returned. And the thing that people not get here is this is not returning true or false because it's about truthiness or falsiness. So basically, if we take an equivalent case here, we take hello and then the empty string, then this returns the empty string. Because it returns whatever is the result on the right hand side. Then let's look at the pipe operator. So basically, true pipe with true is equal to true because this is already true. So this is what's being returned. So if you say hello and world, what you get in return is hello because the first thing is already true and the right hand side is never executed. We say true and or false, what we get is true because the left hand side is already truly, so it's being returned. If we say false or true, then we get true because false is falsy, but true is truly. So we return this. And then the last one is false or sorry, and pipe false. That is false because both are false, so it returns the last one. But again, these all work with truly and falsiness. So we could also say empty string and maybe let's take a number for change, right? This would be 42. Or here, empty string or 0, this would be 0. And any questions?
Um, well, can you use this to for example, if you want to execute two functions, function one, function two, and if but you only want to execute function two if function one works, then you can put the end, the ampersands in between.
Yeah, so you could have something like is equal to we get a number and we return if the number more than the two is due, right? And then we have another function that is called double, which takes in a number and returns the number multiplied by 2. And then we can say const double even, which is basically taking in a number. And then we can say is even number and then double of the number. So this function will only double even numbers, otherwise it will return false. So let's see this double even of 41 and log that if and then we say console mode even of 42 instead. And then that. So what we get here, double even of 41 is false, right? Because if we put in 41 here, 41 modulo 2 is 1. 1 is not equal to 0. This gets coerced to false. So we have false. So because the left-hand side is falsy of this operator, we just return false. And in this other case, we pass in 42. 42 modulo 2 is equal to 0. So this is truly, so this type executes, and 42 times 2 is 84.
Yes, yes, and to me this has a similar character to an if statement, because if the first one works, then we execute the second. that was the main question.
Got it, yeah. I mean, you could put it that way, yes, but there is one operator that is a lot closer to the if statement, which is the ternary, which is basically this. So you can say true
Okay, we didn't
question
have
or true or false. And already, if it's true, return hello. If not, return no. And that one's usually the one that people associate with the if statement.
If hello is true, then
No,
return what?
that's true. So whatever is here, so we could say this isn't of 60, right? So now this would return hello.
Okay. Okay. So you can define what gets what the output will be beforehand.
Yeah, similar to an if statement, right?
And
The equivalent of the if statement
yes,
would be is even of
this
60, hello,
else
else
word.
return.
Got it. Got it. Nice. Okay. Yeah. And is that used, this kind of like instead of if statements? Does that make sense to use these kind of syntax?
Oh yeah, a lot of people prefer this because it's very short, it's very easy to read. It lends itself exceptionally well to error functions, so you can write very
Yes.
elegant error functions. So for example, I don't know, like maybe um, maybe not. I don't know. I'm just thinking something up here, and we could say array dot this array of array. Then we do array dot map. Sorry, array dot map x times two, and then we call this maybe problem map. Otherwise, we return an empty array or something. Right, and this is just very elegant one line. Yeah, so people use this a lot.
That's awesome. But the double and is probably not as often
Double
in
and double type often come into play, for example, in if statements. So we could say is
yes,
even
yes, yes, yes,
and 60 no 100 or something, right? So
yes, yes.
that is where you will often see the operand selector operators being used.
Can you nest these operands?
Absolutely, yeah. You can go crazy with these. But the thing is, code should always be easy to read.
Got it.
So, but yeah, it's just something that you can experiment with, and over the course of this journey, you will definitely learn what is considered good practice and what is considered going overboard with it.
Awesome. That's interesting. Thank you. I have to go now, but that was very interesting. Thank you so much.
Dude, yeah, nice. So, then let's do a quick outro. Guys, remember to code every day. Just get a little bit better every day. As we always preach here on the call, just do a little bit of work every day and it'll pay off bigly in the future. And this has been day 24 of 100 days of code. We call this one the code call, and the ever giving guest is
Leon Andersen with my mentor.
Alice Mill from 10x. Tune in tomorrow, guys. See you.
Bye bye tomorrow. See you tomorrow.